Hello, welcome back to Iri Talks. This week, I don't know. I was gonna potentially do the alien stage. Oh yeah, my voice dying. I was gonna do the alien stage, a merch like showing, but I'm too lazy to pull them out. I don't even know where I put everything, to be honest. It's just on my shelf somewhere. So, this week, I think I was also thinking about maybe talking about, recently I saw a video about line distribution for idol groups and how people were kind of mad that, like, the producers were just producing the songs without having parts in mind for members. However, I think that's just pretty common for idol groups. So, I mean, I'm more mad about the actual lyric distribution and how it's always certain members who get only maybe 2 seconds in a song, you know? I'm more mad about that than how they choose to distribute the lines. But anyways, I don't know if I want to talk about that right now. So, this week we're gonna talk about ghosties and the paranormal and my favorite anime series called Ghost Hunt. Yeah. Let's get started. Whee! I'm so low energy today, so recently got back into, well, no, I was just thinking about old music that I used to listen to, and then the band Kagrra came to mind. So I started listening to their music again, and I'm obsessed. I'm so sad. Oh my god. And I'm on their wiki page right now. I thought, well, Ishii, their lead vocalist, passed away in 2011. I thought it was a little later, but I guess it was 2011. And I don't regret a lot of things, but one thing I do regret is not going to see them live when I had the chance. They were touring in Brazil, and around that time, I was supposed to go to Brazil because one of my family members invited me, but they were gonna send me off with my cousin, and it was just gonna be the two of us traveling. And I mean, she was pretty young at that time, and I was even younger. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to go because it would be without my parents, and then it would be my first time out of traveling out of my homeland. So it was scary, and I was like, I don't want to go. So I didn't end up going, but then later on I saw that Kagrra was performing in Brazil, and I was like, oh my gosh, I could have went. And then later on they announced that Ishii passed away, and I was like, well, that's my one regret. But I think definitely too young at the time, so I don't know if I would have survived that, going to that anyway, or if my cousin would even have taken me. So lame, but it's okay. They're so good. Their music's so good. I miss them. But if anyone knows any other visual kei folk rock bands, let me know, because I love bands. I love music that incorporates a bit of folk music, like J folk, Asian folk music. So very into songs like that and music like that. Yeah. But anyways, off tangent. We're gonna talk about ghosties because I've been watching a lot of ghost hunting videos recently. Well, I watch it all the time, actually. I just it's kind of my background noise, to be completely honest. So I'll just scroll through ghost hunting videos on YouTube, and it's so fun. I mean, it's not, I don't know, is it fun? It's just interesting to watch. and think about, just because it's like, oh, unexplained. What is happening? What is this? Can it be explained logically? Skeptics out there. I'm a believer of the paranormal activities. I'm a believer of ghosties. So I'm not the logical one. I'll be like, well, no, recently I've been rather skeptical, but I have had spooky things happen to me before, so I am very much a believer. I think I've always been a believer. And my family's pretty much a believer, because I think one of my mom's like aunts, she said that she's like a psychic medium, maybe just a medium. I'm not sure about the psychic part, but she was like, oh yeah, like one of her aunts were able to see like the ghosties and stuff and communicate with them. And then like whenever we buy like a house or something, when my aunt bought her house, my grandma like blessed it and whatever. So I mean, I think it's just very much a part of our culture. So my parents are also like, oh, it's kind of weird or like dumb how in America, like, oh, that they teach you guys that it's not, that ghosts don't exist, and then there's this like weird holiday, like fun holiday for kids on Halloween and blah blah blah. And you guys just dress up as like ghosties and like ghouls and whatever and run around trick-or-treating. But yeah, here's the fun part. That's why I love Ghost Hunt. Okay, let me Google Ghost Hunts, because like I watch a lot of like American ghost hunters, I guess, on YouTube, and usually it's like, oh, they'll usually bring like a priest or something to like bless or like do exorcisms and stuff. But I guess it's a very Western thing, so that's why I like the series Ghost Hunt, because it incorporates like Buddhism and like the Miko priestesses and whatnot. They also have a priest. So, but they also have some other like Chinese. There's like a Chinese character on there, and he is like an onmyoji. So it's like, oh, they incorporate a lot of different like cultures and characters, and I kind of love seeing that. It's so fun. It's different. I can't say that all the like details are accurate, but I think so. The series is by Fuyumi Ono, and actually, I mean, a long time ago, I read that she like, oh my god, she's 63 now. That's crazy. But I read that she studied Buddhism in college or something. So I don't know. I'm looking at like her wiki page now, but it doesn't say that anymore. So I don't know. I don't know where I read that. I don't know. But I remember reading a long time ago. So yeah, I just remember reading that she studied like Buddhism in college or her earlier days, and that's why it's like incorporated into her books and stuff, and I find that really interesting. And also Jujutsu Kaisen's author, I was gonna say Mr. but the Gege Akutami sensei, also in one of their earlier books, Gege is very much I think of them as male in my mind, but they've never revealed their gender, so who knows? Gege could be female, they could be non-binary, who knows, So, but I don't know. It's just they are very close to like the other male authors, so I would assume that Gege is male. It's just my thinking, but who knows, you know? So, I will try to refer to them as they, them. Oh my god, is this book 3? I was trying to buy book 3 of... Okay, no, that's book 2. Okay. Bro. Yeah, so I'm looking at Fuyumi Ono books right now, and I bought the 12 Kingdoms series. I haven't read it yet, but I want to read it. And book 3 cost me like 90 bucks, okay? And it was old and like nasty smelling. But I don't think it's not, definitely not in print anymore. So, unfortunately, well, yeah, I had to do some things to get the nasty smells out. But anyways, okay, yeah. So Gege Akutami actually said that they reference some of Fuyumi Ono's like works and their terminology into Jujutsu Kaisen. Especially one of the earlier like parts where I think the first time when Nanami and Yuji meet and they go to the movie theater, and then it's like, oh, I think they reference the word residual energy, maybe, I don't remember, but I'm like, yes. And Gege wrote that in the like author's notes or whatever. They always add in a little like funny excerpt or whatever. And they wrote that, oh, they reference Fuyumi Ono's like terms or whatever. They borrowed her terminology for this type of thing. And I'm like, yes, yes. Love that. Love that, because I am a fan of Fuyumi Ono, and knowing Gege is also a fan. I'm like, taste good, nice. But yeah, seeing how Gege also adds in like a lot of references towards, I guess, is it Buddhist? Is it? I don't know exactly, but I feel like they do reference a lot of Buddhist like things into Jujutsu Kaisen. Yeah, like characters like, isn't Sukuna technically a real thing? Sukuna's a reference. Who is Sukuna based off of? Ryomen Sukuna traces back to the classical Japanese book as a deity. Yeah, I mean, he references a lot of characters. And isn't like, well, what's the quote that Gojo says, Gojo quotes, I alone am the honored one, is a quote from Buddha. So I quite like, I guess, I do quite like these series that references a lot of Buddhist teachings. I suppose, I don't know, because my family is Buddhist, so it just feels interesting to see it in popular culture, you know? Yeah, would anyone ever go ghost hunting IRL? I do want to visit some places, but I also feel like I don't want to bring anything home. I don't want anything attached to me. I already think my house is, well, I don't know anymore, but back then I feel like my house was pretty, what? How do you say? Was pretty, I don't think it was haunted per se, just that there is a lot of like spiritual paranormal activity that would go through. I think there's a lot of energy that passed through at some point, but now I feel like it's calmed down quite a bit. So maybe it was a poltergeist because of all the, there's a lot of I'm gonna look up what they describe a poltergeist as, not the movie. Is that still it? Is that still the definition? It says in German folklore and ghost lore, a poltergeist is a type of ghost or spirit that is responsible for physical disturbances, such as loud noises and objects being moved or destroyed. Most claims or fictional description of poltergeists show them as being, okay, blah, blah, blah. No, maybe it wasn't a poltergeist. It's more, I don't know, is this how they currently still define poltergeist? I feel like someone else used it in a different way. Maybe it wasn't a poltergeist then. How I would describe it is that because there is so much like energy from us that it probably manifested some kind of, or attracted like ghosties, you know, it attracted the ghosties because of the, maybe the negative, the stress, the whatever, all the negative energy was bringing in these spirits, or maybe spirits, I don't know, something that these entities that would feed off of them. So, and I also feel like it's strange. So I don't think you guys would be into this unless you're very into like paranormal activity, you know? So I think that there was a potentially like a vortex or some type of thing where there were like a lot of spirits that would pass through my house. Maybe because we also had a lot of youthful energy, so I think back then I was more open to this. And I think I would experience it a lot more. And I think I was more clairaudient, so when I was younger, I never really saw any ghosties. I've seen one, and it was through a mirror, but it was when I was older, actually. But yeah, I think there was a vortex where there would be like ghosties that would pass through, and spirits, whatever entities that would pass through. And then because we were younger, I think my brother has seen some, although he doesn't remember any because, I don't know, I think he was too young. But I remember him, like one time I was sitting in our room. I used to share a room with him when I was younger, so we had a room and I was in the room on the computer, and then he came in and he was just like, oh, who's that little boy behind you? He's smiling at me, and he had like a lot of red dots on his face. And then like, I think my brother just came in and said that and like ran back out. And I was like, the shit, there's nothing behind me, because I turned around and I'm like, yeah, because the little boy was standing by his bed. And I was like, and I was like, my computer was in front of his bed. So I'm like, bro, how can you say that and run away? But he was like 5. And I'm just like, bro, you can't say that and run out and leave me in the room by myself. So, I couldn't see it. So I just went back to my computer and pretended it was not there, because I can't see it. So it's not real, right? It's not real. But a lot of the time, once we kind of separated our rooms, in my bed, like every night, actually, when I was like laying in bed, it felt like to my right, it always felt like there is somebody else there, you know, because I could hear breathing next to me, but there is no people close by whom I could hear. It sounded like someone was sleeping next to me, you know? So it's like that rhythmic breathing. And it always sounded like someone was next to me, but there's no one there, and I'm just like, bro. So sometimes I would, because I always think it's in my head, I would hold my breath and I would listen, and it still went on. So maybe there is something sleeping next to me. Who knows? Maybe it's residual energy, as Fuyumi Ono says, as whatever ghost hunters say. Maybe it is residual energy where it's just like a replay of, you know, past people who have been there, who have slept there, who have used that room before. Who knows? I don't know. But yeah, that always kind of freaked me out. But what can I do? I don't know. And oh my god. Yeah, it's like sometimes in that bed, I would also hear, like I remember laying there and I would just hear, I thought I can hear like people talking in another room. Like it sounded like they're coming from my parents' room, right? Which was through the hallway and like just like a little bit away. So it sounded like muffled talking, and I know there's no one in there because everyone's outside in the living room, but I could hear the talking, but I can't make out what they're saying. It's just like jumbled blah blah blah, and it was like two people talking. And then one time I've also heard like a little like children spirits like laughing, and I'm like, bruh. And it like laughed right next to my ear hole, and I'm like, bruh, don't do that. No, bad. I hate children spirits. And like my little baby cousins, I mean, we call them nieces in our culture, but you know, little baby nieces, they came from Brazil to visit, you know. So I left my little baby niece in my room while I went out to get more like crayons or markers or something, because we were drawing together. And then like I went back to the room and I stood outside a little bit because I heard her talking. I mean, I thought she was talking to herself, but she was definitely talking to like a spirit or something, because she was just like, go away, I'm not afraid of you. My mom told me to tell you to go away, so don't bother me, blah blah blah. I'm like, oh. So I mean, like after she said that, I'm like, okay, well, I walked in because I'm like, maybe the thing will go away. But I was like, oh, who are you talking to? And she's just like, no one. And she's probably like, oh, I'm sure her parents have taught her. I mean, I feel like Brazil is a pretty active place too, you know? So, yeah. Yeah, she's probably been taught to just be like, oh, it might scare people if you see those type of things. So, it's probably just better to say you're not talking to anything than saying like, oh, I saw this, blah, blah, blah. But my other niece, one time was just like, bro, she was just looking behind me and I'm just like, what are you looking at? And she's like, there's a woman behind you and her head's all bloody, and she's smiling at me, and she's just like, oh, telling that spirit to go away. Oh my god, this thing scared the shit out of me, because I mean, that scared the shit out of me, but oh my god, something just moved by itself. But it's like, it tipped over and it scared the shit out of me because it made a noise. I'm like, there's no one in this room. This is why I don't talk about it, because once I talk about it, I feel like the little ghosties, they're like, oh, we know you know we exist. So then they start pulling around again and bothering. I'm like, go away. Go away, go away, go away. Thank you. Don't bother. But anyways, back to Ghost Hunt. This is such a good series. I don't think it's been out for so long. I don't think people are gonna go watch it. But if you do, spoilers, because I'm gonna spoil the shit out of this, because the anime only reaches like a certain part of the manga, and then the manga also only reaches a certain part before it stops. And the light novel, I don't think the light novel is finished either, and I don't think the author's gonna continue it, to be honest. So I don't know if the light novel is finished, but I'm gonna go off of the anime first. Terminology of like all the ghost stuff, it's not completely accurate. Like I remember they called, like, I guess what the poltergeist activity would be. I think they called it Tizania, because this one is called because I guess on the Wikipedia description, the poltergeist is described as a ghost or spirit that is responsible for physical disturbances like loud noises, objects being moved or destroyed. And that was a thing that happened in I guess the first case at the main character's school. So the main character is Mai Taniyama, and she's this little 14-year-old girl. And I mean, their school has this old building that is like described to be haunted. So the school kind of hired these paranormal researchers to go research, to go look at the place and find out what's going on with it. And if there's something, then, I mean, get rid of it, you know? And so those researchers go to my school, and Mai, being kind of interested, she like goes in because she finds a camera inside like the old school building. And so she goes in and she like, boop, up. She was looking at it, and then she hears a noise, and then she gets freaked out, and she goes boop, and the camera falls over, and the bookcases are like falling over too, because I guess either her or whatever knocked into it. And so now she's gonna be in charge of paying that off. So she gets kind of recruited into the research team, SPR, the Shibuya Psychic Research, which is run by Kazuya Shibuya, or Naru, as Mai will call him. And oh my god, and it's short for narcissistic because of his attitude, of his personality. He is very sin, and so yes, she gets recruited into this. Was like my dream, you know, when I was like younger. I would have loved to join like a paranormal research team. That would have been like the funnest thing. Oh my god, maybe not, but you know, for anime's sake, okay? For anime's sake, that would have been the funnest thing. And so she joins the research team and blah blah blah. They go through all these different cases, which is so fun because one of them is actually based off of they go to this house. It's like a mix of the Winchester house, and also they incorporate like Vlad the Impaler into that case too. So it's so fun. It's so fun and interesting. And I guess it's like the closest to what you would expect from a real life like paranormal research. It's not like that like exciting. I like it because it's very, you know, close to reality. So it's not like that. It's just like a little bit exaggerated because, you know, in anime, you gotta make it interesting, you know? So it is slightly exaggerated. However, it is very close to what you would find in a normal paranormal investigation, or what people do for ghost hunting on the YouTubes, on television series. Yeah, they have a lot of things, you know. So we're gonna go into Naru because he is the interesting one. He has very secretly, but let me think about how to proceed with this because I don't know. There's so much about this series that I love, but yeah, so let me see. Okay, maybe I'll talk about the characters first because there's Mai, who's not really, I mean, she joins in as like a regular kid, you know, as a regular, just like a member. And she just goes in as like an assistant and she helps with like setup and whatever. But eventually as the series progresses, it is thought to that she has like ESP powers, which is extrasensory perception. So she kind of has like these. She has these dreams, which later you find out. Oh God, yeah. So she's thought to have like post-cognitive dreams and clairvoyance, and she also demonstrates an instance of astral projection. Crazy. Okay. But yeah, super interesting. She kind of develops these ESP powers with the help of, this is spoiler, with the help of Naru's brother, who has passed away. Okay. So initially she has these dreams. Eventually, I think as like the series goes on, she has these post-cognitive dreams where she thinks it's Naru who shows up in her dreams. However, it's actually his brother, Jean, short for Eugene, who has passed away. And this whole series, it's not revealed in the anime, but in the light novel, it's kind of revealed that the reason why Naru is doing all this research in Japan is because his twin brother went to Japan, I think for a case, and his brother got killed. And because they're twins, they have this type of like the typical twin telepathy. And especially because Naru and Jean are these super they have this talent, okay, because their whole family is kind of in this field of paranormal research. So using psychometry, oh my god, so many terms, okay, he kind of learns that his brother has passed away, and so that's what brings him to Japan. And then, oh my god, yeah, so he finds out that his brother was run over. It was like a hit and run, okay? So his brother got ran over by a car, and pretty much his body was like thrown into a lake to destroy any evidence of the accident. And so Naru is now out to find his brother because he doesn't know which lake. So you don't notice it at first, but all the cases he takes on, it's because around that area is probably by some type of body of water. And so he takes on these cases and tries to find his brother like that, So maybe it's like, oh, maybe his brother is doing the haunting because, I mean, he was unfairly killed and, discarded. I mean, you also don't know, but in the series, there's like this super famous kind of psychic called Oliver Davis, and he's also like a paranormal researcher. But Oliver Davis is Naru. However, in the series, there is a fake impersonator and blah, blah, blah. And no one knows it's Naru because, so Naru and Jean were adopted. They are Japanese, but they're adopted into this American family or whatever. And yeah, that's why their names are Oliver and Jean. And so, oh my god, there's so many things. It's so interesting. So yeah, they don't show any of that in like the anime. And I think it only begins to dive into that backstory in the manga. But the manga, I don't know, it's also not finished. But in the light novel, it dives into that. But I don't know if he ever finds his brother. I didn't read. I read what was available at the time, and then I don't know. I don't know if they ever find his body. I don't know if they ever find him. But yeah, it's so fun and interesting because I mean, have you guys ever had like a dream, like an astral projection dream? Because oh my god, I think that happened to me once, and that was kind of crazy. I don't know. In my dream, there was like I was kind of out, and then there's like this, I don't know if it's like an alien invasion or some type of like war going on or something. And it was just like, oh, I was trying to run back home and make it back home. And, you know, I made it back home and I was knocking on like the front door. And whatever. And this was happening in my dream, you know. So I was knocking on the front door and then to my like grandma's place. And she opened the door, but she couldn't see me in my dream, you know. So I was just like, oh my God, please help me, save me or whatever. And she could not see me. So I was like, oh my God, what's happening? And then the next day, my grandma, I was like sitting with her and talking with her, and she was just like, did you knock on my door last night? And I'm like, huh? No, why would I even be where you are in like the middle of the night, right? Isn't that weird? And then, yeah, I was just like, oh my God, did I astral project that night? That's crazy. That's crazy. Astral projection is real. But I would love to learn how to control this type of astral projection, because you can go to, yeah, you know what? The more I talk about it, the more I'm going to seem crazy. Unless you're into this type of thing, I'm going to seem crazy. So let's just stop. Let's just stop there. Okay. But yeah, I love that they incorporate someone from Hong Kong, and he's an onmyoji, and he has like a lot of different things. So Lin is Naru's assistant. However, he's also like his caretaker technically, because he works for Naru's parents, and he is the one from Hong Kong who is in onmyoji. But he also has a bunch of other like abilities as well. So yeah, like he can do exorcisms and he can summon spirits and stuff, and he also has like familiars that he can control. So yeah, how are they childhood friends? I'm reading the Wikipedia. It says that it is revealed that Lin, Naru, and Jean were childhood friends, but Lin is like at least 10 years older than him, because in the series he's like 26 or something, and Naru and Jean would be like 17. Bro, that's not childhood friend. I don't think that's a childhood friend. But yeah, Lin is the one who's kind of helping Naru learn about his abilities and teaching him how to control his abilities, I suppose. But yeah, I would say this is a very accurate depiction. A pretty accurate depiction of like a very I don't know how I'd say it in a non where people would take it in a not very in a neutral way, where people could take it in a neutral way. Oh, maybe I would say it's okay. I would say it's an accurate depiction of like a Chinese person of the time that the novel was written, because Lin says he dislikes, so I'm reading off of the Wikipedia. Lin says he dislikes Japanese people because of the past conflicts between Japan and China, and because he comes from Hong Kong. That's a whole nother discussion. But anyways, so I would say that's a pretty like accurate depiction of someone his age at the time of that the novel was written, which is super old, because I'm looking at it now and it says that the light novel original run began in 1989 to 1992, and then the second run was like 1994 to it was in 1994. That's what the heck. That's crazy. Oh, that's so crazy. No way. Damn, this is old. Anyways, yeah, I would say for people at that time, I think it's a rather common thought. But yeah, I think it's changed now. But his, I don't think his views necessarily change. However, his attitude towards Mai does soften because Mai's response to him saying that he didn't like Japan or Japanese people was very similar to Jean. And so I think he was reminded of Jean and blah, blah, blah. So he kind of softens up to Mai as well. And yeah, they also have a monk, although semi-retired monk. He's also cute. He's also older, so he's kind of like, I wouldn't say the father of the group, but but he does act as like an older brother to them, I guess. But yeah, his part, I like it. He's cute. And Miss Ayako is a shrine maiden. So yeah, I really like how they incorporate all these different types of, would they be considered religions? I think I'm talking too much. Okay, I'm talking too much, so I think I'm gonna end this soon. Anyways, Ayako. Yeah, I like how they incorporate all these different religions and all the different types of ways that they either exorcise spirits or they use like protective spells, wards, and stuff. I love how they depict all of these in the series. And yeah, I mean, I don't really know too much about how like shrine makos work and so yeah, I like seeing it. And then there's John Brown, who is the priest. He's a Catholic priest from Australia, which is interesting because he also learned his Japanese in Kansai. So he has like the Kansai accent, which makes it funnier. But yeah, because he's so young, they never questioned it in the beginning, but I think later on in the manga, they're just like, oh, how did he become a priest? So it's like, I think they started questioning whether or not he was an actual priest and what he's doing, I guess, kind of in Japan, like with this type of, well, like, why is he doing exorcisms like this? Like, it's weird because usually the priests are usually a lot older. So it's like, oh, but that never gets expanded on. So I don't know. That never gets expanded on, which makes me sad because I wish the series could continue. I want to know more. Oh, an interesting thing. I don't know. I don't know how like the Buddhist mantras or like Shinto kuji works. So I don't know how accurate this is, but it is said for John's exorcism, it does not cause physical harms to possess living creatures, unlike the Buddhist mantras or the Shinto kuji. So, if anyone knows, if anyone has experience with this, I doubt it, but I want to know how accurate this is to real life. Because I don't think necessarily any exorcisms from like priests that I've seen has caused like physical harm to any possessed creature, you know? However, I've never seen like a Buddhist or a Shinto like exorcism either. So, now I'm interested. Now I am very interested. Oh. I might have to look that up later. Okay. But yeah, there's also Masako Hara, who is a spirit medium. So she can see the spirits, and I think, does she have the ability to? I don't know if she has the ability to exorcise the spirits, but she can. I think in one of the episodes or in one of the cases, she lets like the spirits take over her body and use it as like a communication tool. So there's that, which is interesting as well. I don't know a lot of mediums who would let that happen, you know. Usually they would channel them in a different way. However, I guess if it's like a seance like setting, then maybe. I don't know. I'm too scared to try. Would never use a Ouija board. Oh my god. If anyone's played with the Ouija board and you got stories, I want to hear them. I'm too scared to play that. I would never. Well, it's not even a play. It's not even a play thing. Oh my god. It's crazy. But yeah, there's also 2 other characters like Yasuhara, which they kind of recruit after one of the cases they work on because he's really smart. Okay, he's really smart, and he's like a little bit older than Naru, so he kind of takes over his role. Not take over his role, but he pretends to be Naru for a case just so Naru can operate like without having to, you know, be bothered. And there's also Madoka Mori, who is, I guess, kind of like a mentor to Naru. And then, yeah, she's like his teacher, so she helps out with one of the cases and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, also Hara, the spirit medium, she uses her she's like, I would say she's a psychic medium because she's worked with, I think, Eugene before. So I think in the beginning she confuses Naru with Jean, and then that's how she kind of figures out like, oh, you're not Jean. So she knows Naru's true identity, and I think she kind of uses that to blackmail him to go on dates with her and stuff and blah blah blah. Or takes on cases for her because originally I think he rejected one of her cases that she wanted him to do, and then eventually I think he took it on because of that. So yeah, blah blah blah. There's like a small like romantic triangle between Hara, Mai, and Naru, of course. All the cases are interesting. I love them a lot. That's kind of crazy. How... When was the anime released? 2006. Dang, that's a long ass time ago. Yeah. My friend introduced me to this series, and then I got obsessed. Love it a lot. I wish I bought the manga series as well, but yeah. It's too expensive now. Can't buy it. It's out of print. I don't think they would ever print it again. It's not that popular of a series. I'm sure a lot of people have never heard of this series. But I love it. I love it quite a lot. And yeah. Would have been ideal. It would have been ideal to join a paranormal research team like theirs if there was an opportunity, but I don't know if I would ever want to do it anymore because it's scary and probably doesn't pay a lot and don't want anything attached to me. Thank you, goodbye. But yeah. I think that's it. Need to rest my throat some more, but my sickness is almost gone. I think hopefully it heals by this week because I don't want to cough anymore. I haven't been coughing that much. It's just if I speak too much, if I use my throat too much, then it becomes a little unstable. I don't know. But yes. I think I will end it there. Check out Ghost Hunt if you want to. I think it's on Crunchyroll. I'm not sure. Because it is a super old series. I have the DVD, so sometimes I'll just rewatch it whenever I feel like it. I'm like, it's time. It's time to rewatch and see what else I missed like before. Any other points that can be expanded on? What else can I think about? Blah 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 blah. Oh yeah. Are you guys into the paranormal? Would you ever go ghost hunting? Oh, I also want to, yeah. I would love to explore, and I don't know, because Asian haunted places are so scary. Oh my god, we went to the one place in Japan, like the little garden area in Arashiyama, and like I swore they have like the old like houses and stuff, and or like buildings in the garden, and then I was like, I see someone moving in that house. And my friend was like, don't say that. I'm sure there's no one in there. And I'm just like, are there something? It was like, it looked like, yeah, I guess it would have been strange because it seemed like old, like kimono clothing. It's like the inner kimono, you know, like the white kimono. So I was like, oh, maybe someone's cleaning in there. But I'd assume that'd be a weird like garb. Well, I don't know. Maybe I saw a ghosty or something. Oh my god. I don't know. It didn't feel like a ghost. I'm sure there's someone in there like cleaning or something. So yeah. Asian ghosts, kind of scary, you know. All the Asian like ghost series are scary. Like the Thai horror movies, bro, scary. What else? That Taiwanese movie Incantation, kind of spooky. Yeah, kind of pretty scary. I don't know. But yeah. I'm most into the American scene because I live here, so I like seeing all the different places people go to. But I guess it's pretty much overdone because all the people go to the same places because there's only so many like haunted places in America, you know? So it's getting repetitive, it's getting tiring, but you know, it's still kind of fun to see people go there. Would I ever go? I'd consider going to a few places that I feel like aren't too haunted. Like I don't think anything would follow me home from there. So maybe go. I mean, the Winchester's house is always one of the big ones because it's such a, I guess, iconic thing in the paranormal sphere. So like a iconic place. So I would love to visit that. But yeah. I don't know where else. My friend went and she was like, oh, it's just a house. That's interesting. But I think she was like, I thought it would be bigger, but it's kind of small and whatever. So, but I'm still very interested because it's one of those, yeah, it's very much an iconic place. So I want to go just for my sake. And I don't know about Asia. I'm too scared. There's so many spooky ghost stories that come out. So I'm like, no more spooky, please. Yeah. Let me know about your paranormal adventures. Very interested. Very, very interested. How have you dealt with it? Have you seen a ghosty? Have you encountered anything? Have you felt anything? Have you seen anything? Oh my god. Have you heard anything? Ugh. I don't know what's the scariest. Hearing, seeing, or feeling. Ugh. They're all scary. They're all scary in their own way. But anyways, yeah, I'm gonna go now. Because my third is no more. Goodbye. Thank you for watching this week. Next week, I don't know. Maybe next week I'll talk about the whole line distribution for idol groups. Because I've had experience with that too. And we also do you just record the whole thing and then whoever sings the line the best, you get put into that spot. So, I don't know. We'll see. Do I want to open up the alien stage stuff? Do I want to blah blah blah? we'll see what I'm feeling next week. Okay. Thank you. Goodbye.